Our guest speaker, Mr. Victor Mieres, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the 53rd graduation ceremony of the Singapore Polytechnic. At this 10th session, we will be presenting diplomas and other awards to graduates from the School of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. Our guest speaker this morning is Mr. Victor Mieres, Vice President, Emerging Markets, Asia, Rest of World, of National Instruments, or NI. Prior to this appointment, Mr. Mieres has established NI's international presence and generated sustained revenue growth in international sales. Mr. Mieres founded Planet NI in 2008. Under his leadership, Planet NI has established a presence in more than 20 countries. Mr. Mieres holds a bachelor and master degrees in electrical engineering from Simon Bolivar University in Venezuela and Stanford University, respectively. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Victor Mieres to deliver the graduation address. Mr. Mieres, please.
Good morning. Good morning, and thank you very much for your kind introduction. Principal Tan Chung Xiang, Director Ng Wen Lam, distinguished guests, staff of the Singapore Polytechnic, parents, and most importantly, graduates. It is truly a distinct honor to be asked to share some thoughts with you as you get ready to continue your personal and professional journey. So why am I speaking to you today? I work for National Instruments, where we develop tools that help scientists and engineers accelerate discovery and innovation. We call our approach graphical system design. It consists on hardware and software tools that allow you to create systems that require measurement and control. I know that some of you have used our tools, such as LabVIEW, our graphical programming language, in several courses, projects, and even exciting robotics competitions, such as the National Junior Robotics Competition and FIRST, where several of your teams have won awards. As the Vice President of Emerging Markets, I currently manage the regional system engineering, sales, and marketing operations based from our headquarters right here in Singapore. And just like you are about to do, I started my career in technology. As you can tell from my accent, I am not from Singapore. So how did I end up here? After my graduation as an electronics engineer from a university in Venezuela, in South America, where I grew up, I landed my very first job as a field engineer for a company called Schlumberger, an oil service company. I remember when the interviewer asked me where in the world I wanted to start my career with them. I thought about it for a second. I borrowed the Earth globe that the interviewer had on his desk. I put a finger on Venezuela, and then I put a finger on the opposite side of the globe, turning it around, and it just happened to be Southeast Asia. So I asked the interviewer, can I work in Singapore? Surprisingly, he said yes. So that's how my journey started in Singapore. I had just turned 22 years old. I signed my employment contract in the Schlumberger's office nearby here in Parkway Parade. I then was sent to train in Medan, Indonesia. And I was fortunate enough to work on assignments in the field in Indonesia, in Malaysia, Thailand, and then back in Singapore. After Schlumberger, I went to the US to work on my master's in engineering at Stanford. After my graduation, I decided to join a very small startup company in Texas, in the US, as a technical support engineer. My CEO then asked me to support and help customers and distributors in Asia. And that gave me an opportunity to return to this part of the world. I spent the next decade opening our direct operations in Singapore and the rest of Asia, focusing on growing its business, National Instruments business, outside of the US. And finally, just last year, I relocated my family to live with me in this great city. Director Ng invited me to give you some advice as you embark on your journey of growth and development. As I have learned from him and the many lecturers that I have the pleasure of meeting, Singapore Polytechnic has given you the tools to get each and every one of you to become life-ready, work-ready, and world-ready. So allow me to give you some advice along those lines and some recommendations that will undoubtedly help you fulfill that vision of being life, work, and world-ready in the short, in the mid, and the long term. First of all, I wanted to thank several of your fellow SP graduates who are respected leaders and in National Instruments in their roles in sales and marketing. They're sitting over here, Renee, Jesse, Hereen, Casey Chan, for sharing their perspective with me. So first, a reality check. Your world today will bear little resemblance to the world 20 years from now. So these recommendations will help you become well-rounded, more adaptable, and most importantly, resilient to change. These soft skills are especially important for those of you who are very technical, love technology, and maybe just a little uncomfortable with matters of personal relations. So let's start with life-ready skills. My recommendation is that you follow a passion outside of the technical realm that can make you be a part of a larger purpose. Be a part of a team. It can be a mission, organized sports, community service, etc. You will learn to work with diverse people. You will learn about your strengths and your weaknesses. And you will start to create a story about yourself. This will make you a happier and more interesting person. Second, work-ready skills. Learn and practice your leadership skills. Some of you will have the opportunity to serve your country during your upcoming national service, which is one of the best ways of learning leadership skills. For those of you entering the workforce, volunteer to take on projects and roles that allow you to hone your leadership abilities. For those of you continuing your studies, get involved in multidisciplinary teams. Practice public speaking, and try to get involved in roles that allow you to lead groups. And although it will feel a little unnatural and perhaps a bit uncomfortable, always choose to be or lead teams with people who are different than you. Last, and perhaps more importantly, world-ready skills. The first thing I noticed when I came here many years ago was the fact that I couldn't understand when Singaporeans spoke to each other. I quickly learned that you speak a different and colorful language called Singlish. So my recommendation to you, if you want to be world-ready, please speak slowly to people like me. In a more serious note, there is currently a healthy debate in this country about the role of the so-called foreign talents. There is some anxiety in the air. Some are saying that opportunities are diminished for you since you may be competing against graduates from outside of Singapore. I would like to share my perspective as the head of National Instruments in this region, a multinational employer. In this new world, in the new interconnected world, where design may happen in one country, prototyping in another country, manufacturing in yet another country, And finally, where marketing, sales, and support are needed wherever the customers are, which is all over the planet, the need for talent is borderless, or more specifically, the need for borderless talent. If you are willing and able to work with people from other countries and cultures, many more opportunities will open up for you. With over 40 offices around the world, NI is literally a global village. Jesse, Hareen, Renee communicate and work closely with international colleagues on a daily basis. Casey Chan, who started his career as a support engineer in National Instruments Singapore, now leads our sales, system engineering, and support operations in China, the largest branch of National Instruments outside of the US. So don't fret. Know that you're already ahead of many by being a multicultural, multilingual, and sophisticated Singaporean. My one recommendation to become world ready is to seek and embrace opportunities to interact and work with people outside of Singapore as often as possible. And do it with a sense of curiosity and excitement. So here you are, my dear graduates. By remembering and, more importantly, acting on these 3 recommendations, you will improve your chances of fulfilling the mission of the Singapore Polytechnic. First, be a part of a team with a mission outside of technology. Lead a team to develop leadership skills. Interact with people outside of Singapore. These recommendations will help you become life, work, and world ready. I sincerely wish you much success in your life. Thank you very much.